DJI Status in the USA, July 29, 2025. Got that coming up next. Bill, the drone reviewer here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night, I hosted Rotor Talk Live and was joined by Mr. Ron Brown. We spent the better part of the evening discussing all the latest about DJI Status in the USA, including talking about the SkyRover X1 drone, the Osmo 360, and the Antigravity Insta360 drone, and a whole lot more. So without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. DJI Status in the USA, because we're going to be pretty much dealing with that in one form or another. We're not specifically, we're not going to be talking about the band the entire time, but we're going to be talking about things that centering around that. So I want to kind of be clear on that. All right. Now, the first article that I want to talk about this, and I think this is important. It's the release. Let me get this up here. Okay. On the DJI Osmo 360 camera teaser confirms July 31st launch date. Okay. All-in-one, July 31st, 2025, 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Learn more. With the teaser has only just gone live. The camera's existence has been an open secret for months. Everybody pretty much knows the specs. The owner's manual's been out. It's everything. As Ron said last week, there has never been a DJI camera that's not been released in the United States. All the action cameras, all the pocket cameras, they've all been released here in the United States. This will be kind of a bellwether. We're going to kind of find out with this to see and get the temperature of the water and see how things are. Is DJI going to release this? Is it going to go through customs without any issues? We don't know. We'll know on July 31st, okay, which is Thursday. So cross your fingers. Maybe we'll have some good luck here. I don't know. Personally, I don't know. Now, I think probably some of you guys probably saw, and I did as well too, there was kind of like a review video, and the guy said he was given the unit by DJI, so it was a positive review on things. But if you watch that and he compared it to one of the Insta360s. The footage didn't look as sharp as the Insta360s did. Not to say it wasn't good. I think it was good. It looked pretty good. But I think the big thing with a 360 camera is not the initial use of it or using it. And I know there was some talk and discussion on this last night out on Drone Nation. I think the big thing with all this is going to be how you do post-processing with this. Because I know Ron, and I've talked to Ron about that before. And, while shooting and doing, taking the video, that's really kind of seamless and effortless. It's putting it together using your editor, whatever editor software you have, to, put it out there in a presentable form for a video is where the real effort comes from. And I know there was some discussion last night and wanting to see how DJI handles this. Do they make it, is it going to be processed in the camera? And then, you'll put it on the SD card. It'll be on the SD card and processed and be able to transfer it and download it to your PC or Mac. I don't know. It's going to be real interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. So, I'm interested in it personally, and I'm real tempted about this, but I'm probably going to hold back because I want to see some reviews by people who haven't been given a unit, who buy it and who go out there and use it. Now, everything I've seen about the use case for it and use for it looks good. I mean, I'm real intrigued. And I think the thing for me is really going to kind of decide whether or not I would be interested in it. It's not going to be so much the comparison between that and an Insta360. It's going to be how the processing is done. Because I know Ron has expressed some frustrations in how that process is handled. So I think for me, again, that's something that I'm going to take into consideration before I would consider something like that. That's just who I am. That's just where it's at. So I'm anxious to see it. I hope it does come out. I hope there's a bellwether here. Crossing fingers. We don't know. We really don't know at this point. Okay. The only thing I can say is it's not a drone. So we'll see. I don't know. Well, and DJI is also on the verge, and I think that's coming up next month, is their vacuum is going to be released as well too. The Mic 3 is going to be coming out probably in August as well, and then the Mini 5 Pro. So, we'll see how things go with that, all of that. So, just, the non-drone items, if I were to wager a guess, I think they're going to let them through. That's just me. And I think Mr. Ron Braun is joining us here. There he is.
Hello, Bill. How are you tonight?
Good. How you doing, Ron?
Good. Well, we're up here now. That feels like Florida up here in New Jersey this week. But
yeah, well, we hit 100 on Sunday here, and our heat index today was over 110. So, between noon and 6, you just stay inside. You just don't even bother going out. We're talking about the DJI Osmo 360, and not so much the camera itself, but whether or not it's going to be released here in the United States. And, as we talked about last week, and as you made mention of the fact that DJI has never not released a camera here in the United States. All right, whether it's the action cameras or the pocket cameras, they've come out here. So,
right.
If I were a betting man, and I also mentioned the fact that we have coming up, the Mini 5 Pro, but also DJI's vacuum is going to be coming out, and their Mic 3 is going to be coming out in short order. Okay. And if I were a betting man,
early rumors had the Mic 3 coming out at the same time as the 360 camera. So
okay.
I haven't read that lately, but that was a rumor as recently as a month ago. They would come out side by side.
Yeah, that's kind of what I heard as well. Now, I did see today that the vacuum's supposed to come out next month in August, shortly after August hits. And if I were a betting man, and this is just me, and from what I'm not basing this on anything that I've heard or seen. This is just conjecture on my part. I think that the non-drone items, I think that they're going to come out. Okay. I think we'll see them. I think we'll see the Osmo 360. We'll see the Mic 3. We'll see the vacuum. I think these items are going to come out and be available here in the United States. That's just my opinion on it.
I hope you're right. I mean, about the cameras, the last cameras DJI released were the Action 5 Pro last fall, and that's good then, but that is already like I'm going to say that that's already like 9 months ago or something like that. So a lot of orders went under the dam since that time. I mean, we as recently as January, the Flip shipped out to U.S. customers. So
right.
The Flip is our last device that kind of shipped with no issues.
Well, the second article here is real interesting as well too, and the FCC has given the green light for the DJI Neo 2, and here we are again. It's received approval here in the United States. Will it make it here? Will it make it through customs? Will people be able to buy it? And
we're back to that thing. I mean, the actual kind of drone bans haven't taken effect yet. What's going on is the customs agents are using the Uyghur Act to stop the packages when they get to U.S. customs facilities. So that's why FCC approvals are still happening, because that ban hasn't happened yet. But we have a shadow ban with the customs agent based on the Uyghur allegations.
Now,
And that's, and that's probably why this drone won't get through either.
correct me if I'm wrong, Ron. I seem to remember, until they really stepped up enforcement, that drones like the Flip and the Neo were coming through. Am I right?
And the Flip got as recently as February. So I don't know what changed between late January, February, and then in May with the Mavic 4 Pro, because the Uyghur thing kind of was already in effect when the Flip got through. So I guess somebody decided to even enforce it harder than they were before. I mean, the Neo got slowed down in the U.S. We all got it like about a month late than the rest of the world did, but we did get it, and it did ship from Amazon as well as DJI.
Yeah, it's real interesting. And again, I think it's like I said, I think Thursday we need to pay attention and see what's going on with the Osmo 360, because that's going to really be a good bellwether on things coming up.
Right.
Like I said, just
right.
in my gut.
If that doesn't get through, we got no hope for the
Yeah.
5 Pro or the Neo 2 or anything like that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think, we need to keep our ears to the ground and see what's going on here. Like I said, it's just my guess. I think they're going to let them through. I think they're going to let the non-drones through. I think the drones will still be held up, but I think the non-drone products will get through somehow. That's just
I know today was usually we get that teaser email to us personally from DJI when a new product's coming, and I did not get anything today from DJI.
Nope, I didn't either. We haven't gotten those for a while. So,
I can't remember if we got them for the. I can't remember if we got them for the Flip or not, Bill.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that. I'd have to go back and take a look and see. Yeah, I don't know 100%. Now, I know
we definitely got that email for the Action 5 Pro.
Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that. Now, one of the things that's really one of the things that's been really talked about right now is the SkyRover X1. And I know Marcus has it, and I know Marcus had his initial flight with it. And I watched Drone Nation last night, and I heard what he had to say about it. It's like a sheep in wolf's clothing by any other name kind of a thing. And,
right.
It pretty much has the look and the feel and everything that you would expect from a Mini 4 Pro. It's just in a different skin. Okay. And
yeah,
as you can see, there's been a couple of articles that have come out. Now, Sean did a video where he purely answered questions here about the SkyRover, to really kind of illuminate on the differences between the two. Now, I know one of them that they talked about was ND filters. Okay. That you can't really do anything with the ND filters. The app is different. I mean, it's similar, but it's different. It doesn't have some of the features that the Mini 4 Pro has on it, as far as that's concerned. Battery life, I think you're probably going to get about the same. The obstacle avoidance is probably there as well. The return to home feature is there. Some things that you would kind of expect to see are there. Now, another article here, and I want to bring this up too, is there was some sleuthing going on here, as far as let's see if I get this one here. Yeah. And this was on Drone XL. SkyRover X1 Drone Exposed. Security experts uncovered direct links to DJI infrastructure. People went in there and looked at the code. Okay. Stuff. I mean, I'm in IT, but I don't know how to doing what they do. Busted already. It has the connections to DJI Global, DJI Support, DJI Enterprise via DJI FlySafe references and SKY references. That took like 20 minutes. Somebody posted on X And here it is. It's predicted. NOAC drone Cologne 1 is actually sold and branded as SkyRover X1. In order to separate the brand from the manufacturer, NOAC gets banned. Rotate a new OEM. SkyRover brand is intact. Classy move, DJI Global. Okay. The app's interface closely resembles the Fly app with a simple layout for flight controls, smart video generation, and media transfers. A QR code shared by Finister leads to an app download page, emphasizing intuitive controls for aerial photography, but the underlying code betrays its origins, okay? Design parallels with the DJI Mini 4 Pro, and I'll let you guys read that. Echoes of previous DJI clones in the United States. Anzu Robotics, Raptor series, the Spectre Air and Mini, Spectre Air with the Air 3, of course. The Spectre Mini compatible with the Mini 4K. Navigating regulatory pressure and availability. DJI faces mounting scrutiny in the U.S. with the 2025 National Defense Authorization Act mandating a security review that could lead to a ban by year's end. Almost all DJI models are already out of stock at major retailers. For now, SkyRover X1 is available on Amazon, priced at $898 for the Fly More combo with 3 batteries and a charging hub. Pilots will value its sub 250 gram weight per relaxed FAA rules, as well as DJI Mini 4 Pro like performance. Now, it's made in Malaysia, okay, and you know that may help them get around the rule with the Uyghurs, but the National Defense Authorization Act, if I'm correct, it's gonna ban all Chinese drones. So it's gonna be, FEMI, it's gonna be Snaptane, it's going to be everybody that's out there that makes drones from China is going to be banned, according to this the National Defense Authorization Act. Am I right with that, Ron?
I believe so. There's so many of these bills going on. Of course, the Alabama Senate put one up last week because I can't keep up with all the bills. But I believe you're right. But so far, enforcement has only seemed to be worried about DJI and no other Chinese drones. All tells make it right through, and every other drone brand gets through with no problems at all. And whenever some state or something is not letting you use the drone, it's only DJI. So yeah, I think you're right, Bill. No matter how hard will they try to enforce that ban against anybody but DJI? That's the question.
Well, and I know, and I watched your show last night, and for the sake of not repeating stuff, but I say somebody, and I know, I don't know if it was Tom or somebody brought up a good point. Is okay, the income, or let's put it this way: the sales from Snaptane, the sales from Holystone, the sales from Potenzic. Okay, you could put all of the other ones together, and they're not going to even come close to probably a quarter of what DJI sales are. Okay, as far as that's concerned. So I think, and somebody was talking about this last night, I think a big part of why they're leaving them alone is because they simply don't have the volume that DJI has. Okay, number one. And also number two, we'll look at it this way: they don't have the quality. I mean, you're out there, a lot of those Holystones, they've gotten better, but they're still like miles away from being DJI quality. I mean, it's just not going to be there. And I think everybody would have tendency to agree with something like that. Now, I mean, this is nice.
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way, Bill. If you're a potential U.S. drone maker, and you want to get DJI out of your way, so you're not worried about these little Chinese drone companies being around. You could care less about those guys. You're not there. If anybody makes drone in the U.S., they're not worried about the $300 beginner market, anyways.
Good point, John. I did find a contact person with, I don't know who he works for. I think he's a media representative for NOAC or whoever is with SkyRover, and I actually got some questions answered. Right now, there's no, because my first question was accessories like batteries and propellers. The person responded back to me and said, no, there's no plan to have any additional propellers or batteries available as far as that's concerned. Now, one of the questions I posed to him also too, he did say firmware updates would come directly through the app, and they would come up and you would be notified of them. Now, one of the questions I asked, and I kind of want to find this out, and I don't think he understood it, because he said, the controller is what controls the drone. I said, no. I said, can you use a tablet with this, like an Android tablet, instead of a smartphone? So he's waiting to get back to me. He didn't understand my question, so I think he's going to kind of wait to get back to me. But I think warranty stuff is going to be handled through Amazon right now, as far as that's concerned. So kind of where things are. I'm kind of equating a lot of what I'm hearing is a lot what I heard with spec to Cogito, okay, with what answers I was getting from them. Now, they do have batteries and props available. That's it as far as spare parts. And now SkyRover doesn't say that they're not going to have batteries or props available right now. That could change in the future here. But, it's an inkling. It's in the right direction. But, I want to be real cautious here and not say that this is going to give us some hope that we'll have drones that we can use. And, if a ban's instituted, or that these drones will still be available for sale, we don't know. We don't know how all this is going to play out. This is just a lot of conjecture on our part, but it does give us an avenue to explore, okay, as far as a drone option is concerned, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what the shortcomings of the SkyRover are, I mean, come a time when there's no DJI drones available at all in the U.S., the SkyRover is going to start to look pretty good, right, Bill?
Exactly. Now, something else that everybody and his brother is talking about right now, and kudos to, now, I hesitate to call it Insta360 company, but Antigravity, Insta360, watch out, DJI. Insta360 announces its Antigravity drone brand, and we have to be real careful here, because from everything I've seen and read, Antigravity is not a part of Insta360. Okay, they are using Insta360's camera, so to speak, on their platform. All right, and they're partnering with them. So whether they're a subsidiary of Insta360, that's kind of unknown. We really don't know that right now. But it's really kind of sparked and piqued a lot of interest here with people. All right, because from what I've read, and I've read several articles on this, Ron, they said they're not out to compete with DJI. They want to carve out their own niche, okay? And this would be a 360 drone shooting in 8K, all right? That's under 250 grams, which is pretty doggone unique, okay? It's in a class by itself. Now, we've seen some pictures of it, and I think there might be some here. I'm not sure. Okay, the future is up. Okay, I got to go out to X to get that. But from what I've seen and what I've heard about this, Ron, it sounds very interesting. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just we talked about this a little last week when we first got the first leaked pictures from Igor. But just in the last 36 hours, 40 hours, the rumors came fast and furious. Plus, Insta360 and his Antigravity have both launched trailers, teasers, and whatever. And somebody's worded that this is just from a rumor guy. I think somewhere Antigravity said in some of their copy that they're going to have an announcement as early as August. So I don't think this is something that's coming 6 months or a year from now. I think this is coming, fairly soon, Bill, which is good, because if it's made in China, we need to get this over here before any of these bans take place. So to me, this is much more interesting than SkyRover. SkyRover is kind of old 2-year-old technology, even good old 2-year technology, because the Mini 4 Pro is still a great drone. But this is something, like you said, we haven't really seen before. Now, Insta360 did make a spear attachment for the Air 2 and Air 2S, where you could attach this thing around it and take the 360 video. And it worked, but it was based on older technology. I mean, even camera technology. So Insta360 really hadn't perfected their 360 thing. And to put it on and get everything lined up was a little bit tricky. So it wasn't something I tended to use a lot. I still have mine around. But a built-in dedicated one built right into the camera with propellers in that kind of invisible stitch line that you don't see in the thing. That sounds really good. Now, but you have Igor's kind of teardown video from this new drone.
Yeah, here's the. I'll cut the sound on it.
Yeah,
now this is
taken down.
This was built as a prototype, and from what I understand, that's a heat sink. And what they're saying with a fan. So, and what they're saying because of that, you know, that indicates that it's a really decent processor inside there, because it's probably going to need that to do the processing. And it's going to be curious, Ron, whether or not, you know, what kind of post-processing you're going to have to do after you would shoot video with something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have any Insta360's cameras and you play with the software, you probably know. I'll highlight Sean, Air Photography's in our chat. Highlight his comments about 5 comments back. He says, so I wonder now that DJI is getting into 360 cameras, if they may introduce a 360 drone down the road as well. And that's a good thought, Bill. Do you think Insta360 is trying to get out in front of DJI and doing something like this?
Yeah, I think they're trying to carve their own niche here. And just because this is something that's so unique, so different. I mean, I have seen probably in the past 3 or 4 days, it's gone from just like a couple of videos to now 15, 20, 25 videos on this and growing. It's really has piqued a lot of people's interest, Ron. And especially, and I think, again, they're going to have to be real careful as far as their price point is concerned, because they don't, if they want to grab some of these people, Ron, you know, this is going to have to be well under $1,000. I would say probably under maybe $800, $700 kind of a range, because if you go any more than that, okay, you're starting to look now, you know, sale ban in place or trying to find drone ban in place. You know, you're going into like Air 3 territory, Air 3S kind of territory.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough price point for them to meet, Bill, because if you buy Insta360 X5, they're kind of the latest generation 360 camera. That camera goes for like say $550 or whatever. So right there, you're only allowing about, with your pricing, you're only allowing what $200-300 for the rest of the drone.
Yeah, and it's going to be like I said. You know, having that heat sink on there, realizing it's going to have a really beefy processor. So, you know, there's some thought, and I've seen some, because of some of the articles I've read, you know, it's talked about what a lot of people think is going to happen is that a lot of that processing is going to be done on board the drone. Okay. That, you know, when it comes time, you know, and I know it's a really kind of a laborious process. And I know our friend Dre, Recovery Run Drone, you know, he kind of outlined it here in one of his comments. You know, it's a pretty, it's labor intensive, so to speak. All right. You know, there are some steps that you have to follow to process this, to get it ready to put into your editor. And then when you put it in your editor, to get it ready to be able to put in a video that you put out to YouTube. I mean, it takes some work and it takes effort to do this. This isn't just like downloading it off your DJI drone and getting it out there.
I've said many times, 360 cameras are great until you actually have your home and you got to edit the stuff. Bill Thomas, he's guessing $1,700 or stuff, and Recovery Drone saying, you know, at least 1,000 or better. And I'm somewhere in the middle. I agree with Dre. It's going to be over 1,000, and if it's $1,700, that's that will be kind of a tough sell. But again, we don't know how we don't know the technology. We kind of know the technology the camera's going to have, right? Because we've seen Insta360's X5 just launched a few months back, so we know how good that is. That's industry standard until Thursday when DJI comes up with their 360 camera. But we don't know how good this drone is. Obviously, I think it's going to be a GPS drone, but beyond that, we don't know how many bells and whistles. We don't know about obstacle avoidance. We don't know about the quick shots. We don't know about the range. So, if Insta360 took a shortcut and just released a bare bones drone, bare bones GPS drone without many bells and whistles, and a 360 camera for a cheap price, would that sell better than if they went all out and you got a full feature drone as well as a 360 and it was pricier? Which option do you think would be best for Insta360 to put out there?
That's an intriguing question, Ron. It really kind of leaves a lot open, and because the more features that you put on things, and this is something I try to get people in the thought process when the Mavic 3 came out, and there was a lot of, remember, there was a sticker shock with that when the Mavic 3 came out, and people were like, oh, I can't believe it's this much, and I can't, on and on and on.
Yeah, because
kind of a
we went, remind people, we went from about a $1,500 price point on the Mavic 2 Pro, about $2,200 price point on the Mavic 3. So we saw about a $700 jump. I don't know what that would be in percentage, but that would be quite a percentage increase in price.
That was a pretty significant jump as far as that's concerned. And I think the same thing here kind of bodes with this is they may have a couple of different versions of this where, have like a bare bones version, and then maybe one with obstacle avoidance and maybe extended battery time on it, because I'm sure in order to keep that under 249 grams, that battery is probably going to be, I would say, probably at least only a 30-minute battery, because if you have anything more than that, it's going to push it over 249 grams. And if you add a lot of sensors onto it and other things, you're going to push that over 249 grams as well. So I think a base unit is probably going to come, or they may have, there may be different options as far as that's concerned. Okay. You may be able to get, a unit that's under 249 grams, and it may not have, for example, obstacle avoidance on it or a extended battery. All right. And they may have a unit where it's going to have the extended battery, it's going to have the obstacle avoidance, but, also too, it's going to be over 250 grams. And it's also probably going to be, like Dre said, he put it down, put a comment down there, and that was a good observation, because how much the X5 cost, it's probably going to be about 1,000. It's probably be a tad over 1,000 for something like that. So, but I think
I think the most important thing for Insta360 to get right, Bill, is instead of putting every bell and whistle in this drone and possibly having issues, they need to make sure this drone performs well out of the box. If they have to leave a few things off, they don't want a buggy drone that doesn't fly well right out of the box, Bill. They need something that's they're rock solid, even if they have to sacrifice a few bells and whistles.
And and that's a good point Dre makes right here. Be able to get FPV type footage without flying at high risk. And I think one of the things here, and I'm going to kind of parallel this with a ham radio release that just happened. Okay, it kind of happened back in May here, and the company's Yaesu, the three big manufacturers, Kenwood, that actually still make ham radios, Yaesu and ICOM. They're the three big players.
You mean Kenwood, the company that made my stereo equipment back in the 70s?
Yes, sir. They still make ham radios. Okay. But they're as slow as a snail to get new products out. All right. Well, what happened, and I'll give you guys a little bit of a backstory. Okay. There's two really big ham radio conventions each year. One is in Orlando in February. It's called Hamcation. And then the really big one is called Hamvention, and it's in Xenia, Ohio, which is right outside Dayton, and that's held in May each year. Yaesu released a brand new radio in May, right in time for Hamvention here, okay? And the three big stores that sell ham radio equipment were all there, and they were selling them, okay? Now the feature, one thing about this radio, and just to keep it real simple here, okay, it gave you the option of being able to take it out in the field as a portable radio, or it had a base unit, so to speak, that you could attach a head to, all right, and use it at home. You would be able to get out a full 100 watts. The portable unit, it would be around 10 watts, okay, which is called QRP. Just FYI, all right. Well, when it came out, all right, and here's the point I wanted to make. They really, whoever beta tested this, now it's very different from drones, ham radio. What they do is they will lend out radios to some of the top channels, but they have to send them back. All right. So they didn't really do their due diligence, Yasu. There were a number of features at startup that people were missing. I mean, like right off the bat, really critical, important things that people found right away with this. All right. And there was like within a couple of weeks' time, there was at least 25, 30 videos out there about all these problems with it. Okay. So they didn't do their due diligence in getting this out. They kind of rushed it to market because of Hamvention, because they wanted to get sales here. Okay. So we'll kind of flip over to Antigravity Insta360 here. My hope, and I think you would probably agree, and I think everybody in the chat would agree, is when they come out with something, okay, they don't want to put something out that's going to be half-baked, all right, because they have a chance to really establish themselves in a market, okay, that's totally really, dominated by DJI worldwide, except for the United States right now. Be able to get a nice foothold here. And if they get a nice foothold in that this drone is everything they say it is, and then some, Ron, okay, they can really establish themselves as a serious competition for DJI.
And they did a good job, coming into the market, the action camera or the camera market against the likes of, say, GoPro, and coming in strong. They released good products right out of the gate, and they've kind of taken a lot of GoPro's all camera market away from doing things right. So let's hope they can, do the same thing in the drone space.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're hoping for. So fingers are crossed. And with everything that we're reading, we may see something next month on this, which is really kind of, this may have been.
Yeah,
and what's really kind of.
Yeah. Well, the Antigravity's website, they mentioned they would have some kind of announcement in August, so they said it themselves.
Yeah. So, this is coming. Now, what's really kind of, I don't want to say haha funny, but, we have some great leakers out there, Igor and Jasper, to an extent. And, we're just getting wind of this now. This may have been in the works for a while. I would think, Ron, even to see that kind of prototype that we've seen that Igor posted out there, that this had to have been in the works for a while. Okay. And it was probably very hush. A lot of people didn't talk about this, obviously.
I agree. This has been a while, and it's been kept, very hush hush.
Yeah. And it's going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out, so stay tuned for this. And I mean, it's coming up. Go out to Antigravity's website. By the way, if you haven't done so, do so and register with them, because they will send you notifications when announcements are being made. I went out there and I did that. So we'll kind of see how things are and see where things end up with this. But this is something to really kind of pay attention to, because again, if they can establish themselves with a foothold here, it's really going to be very interesting in the drone space. And I think it's going to be it's going to be good for everybody. All right. And I think
it's going to be one of the most interesting. One of the most interesting product releases of the year, Bill.
I agree, Ron. And I think for me, and I think for a lot of people too, who shy away from 360 cameras because of the processing, I think if they can figure out a way to do some of that processing on board the drone before you even download, take it off the SD card and get it, download it to your PC or your Mac, that may really help themselves as well. Because, while a lot of people
I'll give you an update on that Insta360 in their recent app updates, they've improved the AI editing process greatly, where you could just pick a piece of, a couple of video clips, and you can tell it the AI edit it. And it used to be trash, you know what I mean? But now it actually kind of creates a usable video.
That's good to
Even
hear.
adding things as music and effects and things like that. So that'll help a lot.
Well, one of the articles that I kind of want to wrap things up with, while we're, this is the whole thing about DJI here. Have DJI drones been banned in the United States? Not officially, not yet. And this article was out on, it's called Mashable. In less than 5 months, DJI drones could officially be grounded here in the United States amidst escalating trade tensions between the U.S. and China. And by the way, I just read before I got on here, I read a breaking news bulletin that there's still, that the United States and China have agreed to temporarily cease any, dealings as far as tariffs are concerned, tariff increases. So that's going to be stable for at least another 30 to 45 more days. I don't know if that's good news or not. It said by December 23rd, all drones manufactured in China are required to undergo a national security risk assessment. As of mid-July, Chinese drone maker DJI said it's received no indication this review has ever begun. We know that's already taken place. And while DJI drones haven't been officially banned in the United States, the company told Mashable it's having trouble importing drones in the United States. So, again, something that we already know here, okay? Did this signal the end of DJI's presence in the United States drone market? Not quite, at least not yet. Why are DJI drones so hard to find in stock? And the article gets into the National Defense Authorization Act here, and then some quotes from DJI. And in response to Mashable's questions, DJI spokesperson provided this statement. DJI remains committed to the U.S. market and making our products available to our U.S.-based customers. Current market conditions and policies have made it more challenging to stock and import drones. We are actively working to address and mitigate any influences and uncertainties and to ensure products are accessible to our customers soon. Okay. It's kind of putting this out there for a lot of the tech world to know. Quite a few people don't really know what all is going on with this. And I think it's good that these articles are coming out. I get article alerts. I set up a Google alert. So anytime there's anything on the DJI ban or the CCP Act, that kind of thing, I get notified of it. And I wanted to get this article here and kind of bring this out here and kind of bring this to a point is we still have till August 6th before we respond for Section 232. And I've embedded in the description here the link to go out there and put your comments out there. All right. And I know when I went out there and I took a look, there was only something like 70 comments out there out on Section 232.
Wow.
And here's what I'm going to say, and I know a lot of you are frustrated because you're not seeing any progress. You keep hearing, woe is me, the sky's falling, all that kind of good stuff. All right. My thought lately is to go out there, use AI if you can, use Grok, use ChatGPT, formulate a good statement to put out there. All right. And I actually used my name. I didn't do it anonymously, my email address. Okay. I think it holds more weight personally to do something like that than to put it out there anonymously. But I just put a statement out there, basically, DJI, they've been audited. They found nothing wrong with them. This was done by a Big 8 accounting firm that's world renowned, and there's been no security concerns with that. And I said, and for the good that these drones do, the first responders that use them and lives that are saved with that, and the hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be affected by that, possibly lose jobs, lose livelihoods, lose businesses because of the impact of this, and why. Nobody has given us an explanation on that. Nobody has shown us why it's a national security threat. I put all this out there, okay? And in a smaller form, because it's real limited, the organization that, our friend Vic Moss is with, okay? Drone Advocacy Alliance,
Yes.
okay? There's links down there too.
Right.
Get out there. There's two of them that you need to respond to. There's one about drones for first responders. That's good, but pay attention to the other two that are really relevant right now. One has to do with the import restrictions because of the Uyghurs, okay? Get out there. and this will automatically send, based on your zip code and address, to your congressman in your district and your United States senators to the state that you live in. Get out there and do this. And as I said, and I put a post out there on Twitter, a lot of people are feeling frustrated about expressing their opinion and not seeing anything done. Now, the end goal, would we like to have everything rescinded and everything be as normal? Absolutely. Okay. But if we can get a slice of this to us, okay, if we can get a piece of this or maybe 3/4 of this in our favor, and maybe say, give us like 3 or 4 years time before something like this happens, okay, it's a win for us.
Right.
All right. And the more people that go out there and do this and thoughtfully do this, don't go out there and rant and rave, okay? State facts, keep it simple, use AI, like I said, use either Grok or ChatGPT, and get out there and put this out there, because I think it's so important right now, because, you're sitting there, you're frustrated, as we all are, okay, that something may be coming up down the road here, okay? I want to go out with my guns blazing. Okay. If they decide to take everything away in December, all right, I want to say, you know what? I did my part. Okay. And I hope you guys and all you guys watching can say you did your part as well, too. Because if you sit there, it's like people that complain about a certain, a political office or something. Okay. And they complain and they whine and they moan and everything. But yet, did you go out and vote? No. Okay. So you're complaining, but you didn't go out and vote. All right.
Right.
Don't do that here. Okay. This is important. This is our hobby. And in some instances, our livelihood. Go out there.
Don't be an armchair quarterback.
Exactly. Okay. That's good, bud. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you get out there. And absolutely, thank you, bud. I appreciate you're doing that, bud, and sharing that with us. I think that's fantastic. And I hope more of you are doing that. I'm going to go out. I haven't looked out on Section 232 to see how many comments have been filled out lately, because I've been super busy with a lot of stuff. But go out there, fill that form out, okay? Do it, because it's going to make a difference.
Stuff the ballot box, right? Stuff the ballot box.
Stuff the ballot box. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you remember back in the day, Ron, for Major League Baseball, for All-Star games, that you had to punt. You would give them those cards and you would punch them out, to vote in your favorite player. Okay. And I would grab handfuls of them at games and go home and fill them out and drop them off next game and all that, and have a big old time. Make your voice heard. All right.
Do that.
Our hobby is important, for a number of reasons, and notwithstanding. And one of the other things that I put down, now I know Joe America has even emailed me about this, about drones for veterans. Okay. And I saw a couple articles about drones for veterans and the good that it does for them, and how it helps them connect and helps them become, it makes a difference in their lives. It gives them some purpose and some meaning and some enjoyment for that. And for a lot of seniors, it's the same thing. This is a good hobby. This is something that I think has been absolutely fantastic. I want to see it continue. I want to see us enjoy ourselves. I want to see Rotor Talk on for another, as long as I have breath, I'll be doing the show. Okay. I want to see that happen. Right. But we have to. We
don't want to get canceled.
Right. Absolutely, Ron. What's Ron and Marcus and I and Johnny and Ray and everybody else that have shows are going to do with our time. Okay. I mean, I have my ham radio stuff, but you know what? I love this hobby. I love drones. I love all you guys. Okay. You guys are absolutely spot on, number one in my book. Okay. So go out there.
Hey, Bill, can I give a little drone update before we say goodnight, Bill?
Absolutely.
I got an email this morning from Indiegogo, and you remember Indiegogo? They were the one kind of kickstarting the little helicopter mini drone, and right. Some people have got theirs, but I haven't got mine yet. So the email said that anybody number 330 and under, their drones is shipped. So I went out and checked my number. I'm number 149. So my V-Copter Mini, this email should have shipped. So hopefully I get it sometime in the near future. And
That's
by
fantastic news.
in a near date, like I forget what they said, maybe another week, they will have shipped all the way up to number 470. So they are moving drones out, but they're coming slow, Bill.
Well, you know, it's good news that it is coming. Okay, that's something that's positive here. And you know, for the first time in a while, you know, this week we've had some positive news and some things to give us some encouragement as far as, you know, the SkyRover X1, even though it's still kind of old technology, it's something, you know, it got a great discussion going, and it got a lot of people interested in it again. And also Antigravity Insta360 as well too. Really kind of sparked the whole, got people interested again. And, you know, let's keep this positive kind of vibe going. And especially, you know, the links are down below, guys. All it takes, you know, get out there, chat GPT, Grok, have them, you know, formulate something, whatever you're going to say, you know, just make it simple. Don't make it direct, make it personal, make it yourself, you know, say, you know, you go out there, you know, for example, when I did my thing for section 232, I said, I'm a drone reviewer with a popular weekly show. I didn't say who I was. I didn't be that specific. Okay. But, you know, I see what good that this hobby does for people out there, you know, and you be creative with it, but make it truthful. Okay. And don't rant and rave. Don't cuss, you know, be direct. All right. That's all I can say, guys. Question of the day. What did you think of DJI Status in the USA, July 29, 2025? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.